sponsored studio, right here every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew this blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. It's Earth's finest water, Fiji Water, at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app to support the broadcast at New Life Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com, on the contribution page, you give weekly and monthly. We thank you for your support and your continued giving as we fulfill our commitment to God to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you said something about a friend, and then another friend told her what you said, and now she will not talk to you any longer, and you don't know what to do about it. So let me first say this. None of you are really being friends. That's the first thing. You're associates. That's the first thing that you need to recognize, that none of you are really being good friends. And the reason that I say that is because, first of all, you were talking about someone that you classify as a friend. Which means if you're talking about her, if you're saying anything negative about her, which is what occurred because now she won't speak to you. If you're saying anything negative about a friend, you're really not being a friend. And in order for you to have friends, you must show yourself friendly. But then you told someone who then carried it back to the person that you were talking about and told her what you said. So she's not being a good friend. A good friend would have said, listen, that's our friend. You shouldn't be talking about her in a negative way. Because here's the reality. If you're talking about a friend and you're saying anything negative about them, you're not only not being a friend, you're not a friend. You know, we all have people in our lives that we love and people that we consider to be friends, and I don't have any friend in my life who I would ever say anything negative about. Not going to do it. And the reason is because I'm a friend. The fact that you were talking about her, you know, in the world they have a classification called frenemies. But you're not even frenemies, you're just associates. If you took the time to talk about this friend, this person, and talk about her to someone else, and then the person you talked to about her then went and told her what you said, none of you are being good friends. Because for the person to carry it to her, carried it to her so that they could disrupt her psyche. You don't talk about a friend and then to someone who considers themselves a friend, and then they take it to the person that they consider to be a friend and disrupt their psyche. There's a vicious cycle going on here that all of you need to be aware of and really should now understand that you're not being good friends. The only person who is really a friend in all of this is the one that you were talking about. Because she didn't then turn around and share anything with the person who told her what you said about you. She just refuses now to talk to you. So what she's done is removed herself from this equation that doesn't equal to friendship. And you can't blame her for that. There will come a point in time when she will forgive what you said, but she won't forget what you said. So your relationship will never be the same. And you didn't tell me what you said about her in your communication, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your lives what you said. And because of what you said, you shouldn't expect her to want to have a conversation with you any further. The fact that you decided that it was okay to talk about her in that way, you were making a decision then, and here's what I'm going to really break down for you. The problem going on here is that you feel that she had gotten closer to the person you told, so you told her something about this woman that you thought would diminish their friendship. That's a whole different topic in itself. Why you felt the necessity to do that so that it would diminish their friendship was not a good move. It wasn't even, this isn't even about friendship. It just wasn't even a good move for you to make, to try to diminish the friendship of two other people because you felt insecure about your friendship with the person you told. But now the person you told that to knows that you can't be, if you talk about one, you'll talk about the other. So you have a different set of issues going on here. But you should not have even expected her to speak to you again if it got back to her. You know, what you expected was the other person wasn't going to tell it. And you know, when I was in the corporate world, we had an expression that we used, and that's 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. So you have to understand that when you told her, there was the possibility that she was going to go back and tell the other party. You were hoping she wouldn't tell the other party, but that it would just diminish their friendship, and that you could go on being possibly some type of friend to the other person also. Doesn't work that way. The truth of the matter is that you have to now deal with the fact that she's not going to talk to you. She's not going to have the desire to talk to you after what you've said about her. So there's nothing you can do about this. You know, I could sit here and say to you, you could call her and apologize for what you said. That you could call her and you've tried to reach out and you've left a message and said, you didn't tell me, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your lives. You tried to tell her that it was said out of context. You didn't mean it. There was no malicious intent when you said it. But you could not have said that without thinking that if it got back to her, it would damage your relationship, your association. And now the person you said it to is going to always be suspicious of the fact that you're going to talk to someone else about anything that you want to say about her or that she has shared with you. This was not a good thing. This is just messy. And the reality is that you are at a point in your life where you should have a better understanding about how to navigate friendships. You're not showing yourself friendly. You're not showing yourself to be a friend. It's just about you being at the center of attention and you having the relationships that you want to have on your own terms. So I needed to speak what God has spoken to me and what God has shown me, because this is the only way you're going to be able to change this behavior and experience a better quality of life. These types of decisions that you make to have the desire to talk about other people, that is not going to allow you to build good, sustainable friendships. There's a personality flaw here. There's a behavioral trait that is not going to allow you in your mid-30s to have a good quality of life. And for all of our listeners and viewers, let's be mindful of this. You should never, at this point in our lives, because we've lived in society long enough to have a better understanding. At this point in our lives, there is no way that we should be talking about people in a negative way to other people. We shouldn't be talking about people in a negative way to other people. Even if there's something about someone that troubles you or you find difficult to understand, keep it to yourself. Pray for them. If you really feel there's an issue, pray for them. But don't talk about them. We should be at a place in our lives where we're not the problem in society. That we are, because we're seeking a better quality of life, we should not be talking about people to other people in a negative way. Now, listen, you can have conversations about people, someone can share something with you about someone you don't know, and you might have a response, you may even have an opinion. And that's okay, because you don't know the other part. But the people in your lives are not people that you should be talking about, and certainly not in a negative way. I'm not going to ever talk about a friend in a negative way. It's not going to happen, because they're my friend. If I have a concern about their attitude, their behavior, their lifestyle, I will talk with them directly if I have a relationship with them. If I don't have a relationship with them, I'm going to pray for them. If it's someone that I just know, I'm going to pray for them. But I'm going to talk to my friend and say, this is my concern, but I'm never going to talk about them negatively. And the reason is because we should be lifting one another up. We should be encouraging one another, inspiring one another to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And we cannot do that if we are not a good friend. We're not going to do that if we're not a good friend. And the one thing that we should want in our friendships and our relationships is to be a good friend. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-0266. 992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been provided with a new contract that has a significant amount of income attached to the contract, which will change your life and the life of your family. And you want to know, how do you prepare yourself and your family? So let me first of all say, to God be the glory. Congratulations on your new contract. And I want to say to you that I'm thankful that you've sent in this communication, because it's real important as we make progress and as we receive the blessings of God in our lives, that we're prepared for that. And that, and I'm going to get to the family in a moment, but first and foremost, you have to be prepared. So I'm going to encourage you to do this. This is life-changing. And the good news is that it's going to provide a better life for you and for your family. But I'm going to encourage you to create a lifestyle that is very simple. It's not complex. I want to walk you through this, and this is important for all of our listeners and viewers just to hear, that when someone receives a blessing of this magnitude from God, that you first of all prepare yourself to live knowing this. Here's what I'm going to say to you. You now can afford to buy a new home or build a new home. And what I'm going to say to you is that when you do this, first of all, right now you should take out a mortgage. And the reason you should take out a mortgage is because interest rates are very low right now. They're historically low. You're basically getting free money. That will give you the opportunity to invest what you would have spent on your home into the stock market and perhaps into some real estate investments and entrepreneurship, but one step at a time. So let's do this first. Make certain that the home you buy, that you understand that there's going to be the cost of ownership, and you're going to have to pay property taxes. So this contract will last for a period of time, but we want to make certain that this contract allows you to live and enjoy a great quality of life for the remainder of your life. So, I'm humbled that I have the opportunity to share this with you today. Make certain that you spend whatever you spend on a home right now, that it is something that you can live with for the rest of your life. Now, that's not to say that you won't have another opportunity to maybe purchase another home, but I would recommend that you do that, maybe a second property, a beach property. But you're still going to have cost of ownership, and you're still going to have property taxes. So you want to structure your life with something you can live with forever. Don't spend all of your resources buying a home that is going to, later down the road you're going to have to sell. Let's not, in order for you to have money to sustain yourself long term when you age out. But let's build a great quality of life that's sustainable and build wealth that you can preserve. So take out a mortgage. That's the first thing. Put your money in the bank, whatever bank you're going to do business with, take out a mortgage. with that bank. And here's what you do. Take out a mortgage that right now is going to be a 30-year mortgage. Now, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't recommend that because of interest rates. But interest rates are so low right now, you get free money. You can always deal with that later. For example, if at some point, and you can write off the interest on a mortgage. So you're getting free money and you can write off the interest on your taxes. So having said that, and listen, I'm not your financial advisor, but you asked me, how do you prepare yourself? So I'm giving you some tips on doing that. And then whatever you would have spent on that home, no matter how much it is, whether it's, $500,000 or whether it's $1 million, whatever you would have spent on that home, that is money that you can take and invest. So you can invest in the stock market. You can perhaps get into some co-investment vehicles where you can invest in some commercial real estate. There are things that you can do with that money that will generate you, and I would really recommend starting out with the stock market. Now, if you think there's something you want to do from an entrepreneurial perspective, you can always do that also, because you'll have enough money to do that. But take one step at a time and make certain that you are taking the necessary steps to build wealth long term. Because this is not wealth. This is the blessings of riches. This is a substantial amount of income that you will have annually from your career, the contract in your career. So here's the thing. Invest in the stock market, invest in some index funds. There are things that you can do right now to prepare yourself for the long term. So start with purchasing your home. So that's going to change your life. You're not going to be renting any longer, and you're going to have tax deductible write-offs. Real estate first, home ownership. Then the stock market. That's going to be real important for you, because the stock market over time has generated generally at least 8% annually. So you're going to get a bigger return on what you invest in the stock market than you're paying out in interest right now on your home. So that's important. And then here's what you got to remember about your family. You don't owe your family anything. That's the first and foremost thing you've got to get that in your mind. You don't owe your family anything. Now, your mother's still living, and if you want to, you've got two options. If you want to buy a home for your mother, make certain it is a reasonable home that you can cover the cost of expenses and the real estate taxes. You'll get the write-offs. I would recommend that for right now, and the reason I'm recommending this is because this is what the Lord laid on my spirit. Allow your mother to live with you. Allow her to live with you so that you don't have to endure the additional cost of a home. You feel the need to do that because you feel the need to buy her home because she took care of you when you were younger and has brought you to this point in your life. But here's the reality. You could always let her live with you. You can let her live with you until you decide, okay, I can buy a home for her, get a mortgage, and again, rates are low. Don't pay cash for it because you're taking away from your investment opportunity. Well, not really because of the contract you've gotten, but you're reducing your ability to invest. in other areas. But if you decide that you're not married, so if you can at least move your mother in with you until you decide to get married. But take one step at a time. That's all I'm saying to you. Don't buy a lot of automobiles. You can only drive one at a time. So maybe a utility vehicle and a car. Let your mother drive the car when you're not driving the car, or the utility vehicle when you're not driving the utility vehicle. There are practical things that you can do. Now, as far as the rest of your family is concerned, you can help them when they need help, not just because they want help. You've got to understand that they too have to build their own quality of life. But the problem is that when people have a lot of money available to them, they then start to do things for people that don't need to be done, but things that people want done, which doesn't allow them to build a better quality of life and sustain a better quality of life. So you've got to be real careful about that. You can help them out if they need help. But you've got to allow them to make some changes also in their own lives so that they can continue to grow, to develop, and become the best version of themselves that they can become. That's going to be real important. You don't want to take away their ability to grow. And if you do everything for them because you can right now, it is not going to benefit any of your lives. It will only provide immediate gratification that then you all will continue in the future to experience some struggles because you're not prepared to handle this. Don't try to handle everything for your family. Allow them to grow. Now, here's the thing. If you know they have skill sets and you know they have gifts and talents, and I don't mean starting them out in a record label or anything to that effect, because God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, one of your family members wanted you to start them out in the record label. Not that. You want to make certain that if you go into a business project and they have certain skills that they can work in the business, let them come to work in the business. But if they don't have skills to do that, if they're not proficient, competent and proficient in those particular areas, don't bring them in. Now you can bring them into certain things to teach them as you grow, but you've got to allow them to continue on the path that they're on, hopefully making some changes, because your life has changed. You will, listen, you won't give them a hand out. You will give them a hand up. And that means that if they're in need of something, you can help them with their need. Don't help them with their wants. If you want to take the family on a vacation, you can afford to do that. If you want to take a family on a vacation, that's fine. That's what you desire to do. But don't make it a life commitment that won't allow them to develop and grow and become the best version of themselves that they can possibly become. I want to say congratulations to you again. I want to say to God be the glory. And feel free to communicate with me at any time if there's any other questions that you might have. I'm really excited about your life, and again, to God be the glory. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Under Armour Golf, which now powers the Junior League, a national league for boys and girls of ages 6 through 18 of all skill levels. Under Armour is advancing the game of golf for all children ages 6 through 18. Go to Under Armour, underarmour.com/golf. and you'll see everything that Under Armour has to offer if you're a golfer like myself or you have a loved one who's a golfer. And of course, Under Armour has all the athletic gear that you could possibly need for any activity that you'd like to pursue. I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, we are Facebook Live every Monday through Friday, well, every broadcast, Sunday through Friday. We are YouTube Live, and we are now RadioFreeNetwork.com live. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, and click on New Life.